Ladies and gents, welcome. We've got a playoff 3 to open up Group C, where Ganji is going to be amongst some familiar faces if you watch the second season. He's actually in a group with Jordan and Hera the first time. Jordan and Hera, two other players in this group. Joining them, though, one of those players anyways, Barles, and I think it's freaking Andy off the top of my head. And about the other one, someone's going to remind me of in a second. But they all play very... Oh, it's Land. That's what it is. It feels like they all play very similarly. And, Ganji was an impressive standout from, getting promoted out of gold. He's one of the players that really had me excited and happy after the conclusion of Platinum Season 2, because many people thought he would just be relegated right back down to gold. So we'll see if he can stay alive. He's in that stay alive conversation. I think even though he was third place in his group after an incredible performance in Season 2. Now, Barles was fourth in his group. I remember a crazy series at the conclusion of Platinum Season 2 where he had to beat Sito. It was like whoever wins that playoff 3 between Sito and Barles would stay alive. And Barles, again, just super consistent player, man. And guys, I've just seen the civs, and we've got Cumins for Ganji. Guys, we did not see Cumins lose on this map a single time in gold. And I was really certain, like, there's very little ways to counter this. And what the strategy is build up towards the berries, build the TC here on the berries, and then the deer. And you just get so much food income. You then have 2 town centers to create villagers. Generally speaking, you play very safe then behind this with walls. And we've got Magos for Barles. So Barles is going to know. Like, I don't know how much he watched gold, but he will know Cumins means the second TC. So he should be thinking fast feudal here, I assume, for scouts. But yeah, I wanted to get the intros in. I think that's important. I don't know. Maybe some people are like, T90 should have talked about the civs earlier, but really, I mean, it's all about the players here, and I think the storylines to them is really important. Will be an interesting, diverse series as well, where each game should bring slightly different strats. So I'm looking forward to that. So everyone has been docking on this map. No one's really been skipping it. I can only think of one game where it was skipped, and it was Slam in like the second week of gold with the Gurjaras. So there's the dock. The players seem to be building the docks with 2 villagers to leave the villagers unharmed next to their docks. So that's pretty consistent here. Barles going to do the same right now. Wouldn't surprise me if both of these players were practicing a lot, especially with players who played in gold, who were maybe playing on deciders, because I know that's been happening. I did not hear specifically that either of these guys have been, but Ganji, player I speak to a bit more than Barles, does like to put in a lot of practice time. Oh, where it gets interesting is like Ganji and Barles know each other really well. So like, it could hurt their potential practice partners if like they're in the same group. But I guess if they play each other the first week, guys, which is how things were structured here, then, that actually ends up being good for them because they could still train together and compare strategies because they won't play each other again in the group stage at all. And I'm not certain if this was an example of it. Well, actually, no, I think it must be an example of it. But something we've done for this season is we have structured the rounds so if players are teammates and in the same group, they play each other first. That's what we've tried to accomplish. I never really thought there was anything that was clearly like, okay, this player's helping his teammate out with results, but there was a question raised one time, and in my mind, I was immediately thinking, well, let's eliminate any possibility. So I think that because earlier today we started Platinum with Leary versus like Classic Pro, so it's like the further the players are apart, ideally is how you start. So it's like what it should be is like something like 1st seed versus 6th seed, or like 2nd seed versus 5th seed. These guys would be 3rd and 4th seed, so the fact that they're starting is probably due to the teammate addition to our rule. So we'll see. God, I swear to God, chat, I don't know if you're trying to nitpick me today, but it's really bothered me. Okay? I had a stream will continue overlay up. We spent time on this, and people were like, oh, the stream's over. All right, I know you're probably kidding, but that bothered me. And yes, the logo at the bottom right happens to have a little bit of gold on it, but it's Platinum League, okay? I'll fix it. But I know you're really testing me here, all right? Really testing me. I hope the games are good. Look at Barles right now. He's looking, and he's searching for what could be a TC here. I love jokes, but I just want to, say that the level of tilt is there to the point where I don't appreciate the joke. If it's a joke. If it's not a joke, it's all cool. It's all good. It's a good mix-up. I explained it. We're past it. Look at Barles. Barles made a militia, one, so he can kill the deer. What a strat. I really like this. Because I think if you go... I mean, Man-at-Arms could have actually been really good. But the one militia play, it's going to take out quite a bit of food. And then you're just TCing for berries. So again, this is the strategy that we talked about before. It's the scout play into the TC eventually on the berries. There's the town center. Barles is going to see his opponent is out of the stable. And Barles is looking to get a lot of value from very little. I would say the deer alone is probably worth the militia investment. And he was close to killing a villager there. Fails to do it. Backs away. Behind this, he's actually going scouts. So militia into scouts is something else. Ganji actually queuing a fire ship right now. I think he's trying to be really safe right now. I think he's thinking he could kill my fish. So let's just make a fire galley to be safe. And while simultaneously adding the TC, of course, for additional vills. But this is a little uncommon. I've yet to see anyone add the fire galley. I wonder if he's doing this because he knows his villagers are exposed. Because Barles just got close to this. He's now bringing his scouts in. And yeah, those villagers... This seems to be the only area people with cumins are losing villagers with this strat. Like, this is the one thing that players need to change. Is how they deal with their villagers out here. And I guess the fire galley is what the adjustment is. I think it still should be something ideally you avoid. Taking losses out here, and the scouts are kind of going down. I guess the other villager will still be exposed. And Barles says, thank you very much. I'll take the villagers anyways. Now you've just made a fire galley that protects an extra 200 food remaining, right? Now, over here at the same time, there were scouts moving around for Ganji. I didn't show that, obviously. But Ganji didn't find any value. He did get hit from the spearman Barles added. I really think that Barles has had a better start here. I understand, though, that the cumins can catch up and can be really strong, but Barles thought it through. He knew where he needed to pressure. He killed the deer. He killed those two villagers. A great start. And now you're probably thinking more around Castle Age than anything. Obviously, with a heavy focus on taking out this TC. I do like the outpost there from Ganji. I think that's a good move, just in case something happens. And I like the thinking here to just try and get these walls down. Cumin walls do have more HP. Eco lead's obviously going to grow in here for Barles. For Ganji. And Barles just going to bring his scouts back home right now. So I don't know if Platinum players know yet how good this Cumin play can be. But the adjustment Barles made was really interesting. He's also hid the fact that he's had these extra scouts. I saw it on Capture Age. And I was like, where are they? He's being so inactive with them. But they're just kind of looping in. And Ganji's like, what? What is this? And yeah, Magyar scouts can kill the spears. Great quick walls from Ganji, though. Very well played. Still needs a house here or a palisade. Nice. Okay, so this has been a better start versus this build than others, right? Because the deer's been out of the picture. And that's, what was it, 8 deer? 8 times 140. I am going to do the math. I think that's 1120 food or something. It's a lot of food. And then you had the berries. And Castle Age time will come in here for Barles as he's going to drop ranges. And not the first time we've seen Cav Archers as the play. So it seems to be his move. I'm surprised at this. He's got good food eco. And I've always felt like Night Siege is that play against, the forward town center. But maybe he feels like it's unrealistic. It has been unrealistic for other people to to really punish this TC with Night Siege. It just hasn't happened. Humans are undefeated on this map in gold. Correct me if I'm wrong, statisticians, but it's really strong strat. And Ganji has a 10 villager lead. Ganji not too far away from clicking up. I do need to add the market events back. You can see he's using that now, and he clicks up. Really nice time, though. That is really good. Because he's actually sent a villager over here to get enough stone for the next TC, guys. Because he made an outpost, he's at 95 stone, and he needs to have 100 stone to make the next TC in Castle Age, so he was thinking about it and ripped to the Ville. Eco KD 4-0 right now for Barles. Not bad, but still finds himself 10 villagers behind. There is a massive overchop here for Ganji. Ganji, please. I mean, there's so much potential for it here as well. He's got to be careful here with his gold. He's got to be careful on his wood line. Oh, scary stuff. 3 spearmen might not even be enough if these scouts get upgrades. Bloodlines is going to be in for Barles. He's thinking about it. The other spear, though, will arrive right now, and he takes the fight. It was simultaneous with Castle Age, though, guys. Look at that timing from Barles. Kills all the spears. And Barles has been impressive. Ganji's quick walls, though, well, they've been impressive. He's still awkward, painful. Okay, not horrible. Cav Archer's obviously being masked behind this for Barles. He's got some catching up to do economically. Again, he takes big fights. He says, screw your spears. Look at all the work Ganji's had to put into this game with all the walling. Ganji has double stable. And Res Collected, I'm curious on. Res Collected right now, it's even. Does have more food collected and does have more villagers on food, so should still collect a lot more. And he's going to go camels, expecting knights. Yet again, Ganji has to quick wall because these wood lines are being chopped through. And yet again, Ganji has to quick wall. And yet again, he does it. But his quick walls are ridiculous. But now the Cav Archers show up. Not something he was expecting here. And he has to leave the wood line so he doesn't lose more villagers. Ganji under a lot of pressure. It is very hard to perform perfectly when you're under this much pressure. But I think he's done a pretty reasonable job because Barles has been all over him, it feels like. What I like about the Cav Archer approach is that long-term, it's really tough for humans to stop. So instead of the approach of killing the humans because they have a bigger eco, the approach is just hold off the army that they are going to make. Like, look at this, right? Obviously didn't have blacksmith, just realized it, needs the blacksmith. Kind of out of jobs for these villagers right now. So yeah, Barles has a monastery up. Barles is the second town center on the gold area over here. This is pretty clean. Really good eco upgrades. He's got his wood. He's got his gold upgrades. This is going to be a fun game, guys. Really close. And we expected it between these two. But the diversity strategy is awesome. Should mention is that the Cav Archers are not something that really are strong with the Magyars until after you get your unique tech. Like, you have no bonuses for Cav Archers right now. That separates you from other Cav Archers, that is. Long term, Magyar Cav Archers are some of the best Cav Archers in the game. Ganji, where are you going, dude? You just saw the Cav Archers were here. Oh, Ganji taking a really weird move here as he angles out there to the berries. But that's what happens when you lack control over the game. Barles has now killed 10 eco, still 10 behind. And he's also camping with these scouts on this area. I wonder if Ganji's thinking, because, like, Ganji right now has got to be thinking third TC, third TC, third TC. I want my third TC. Oh, he has 3 TCs. Okay. Magyar Cav Archers produce faster? Is that new? Huh? What? Has that bonus always been there? 2 people said it. I wonder if that was a recent change for them. Magyar Cav Archers produce faster? Interesting. I honestly didn't know that. I'm a big Magyar fan. That must be relatively new, right? Last update. So that's the update that just happened like 2 days ago. Okay. Got it. And this is played on the current update. Oh, it was in a previous patch. Got it. All right. It's weird, right? Because there was a patch like a couple days ago. So I'm not sure which one you're referring to. It was... Okay, so that's actually... That's really good then. Because the big weakness of the Cav Archers is that it takes time to mass. So I think it falls into place quite nicely for the Magyars. Sick stuff. Camels do a lot of bonus damage versus Cav, but obviously you've got to get in close right now. And Barles living the Magyar Cav Archer dream. And I think Barles is in a better position right now. He can move out, place TC number 3 on the food. He'll actually go all the way over here to the wood and the gold. Look at the scouting from Barles, guys. He's aware of all these additional resources. He's kept a close eye on this. Kept a close eye on Ganji. And camels still do shred pretty quickly if they get in close, though. Like Cav have been added by Ganji. He's looking for the monks. He knows the monastery's there, but the monks are actually here. And the monks are in the perfect position to convert some camels. And that's going to be 1-2 conversions. That's huge. And a frustrating thing for Ganji, because he knew the monks would be out there. And he knew the monks were a problem. And then the scouts that were left over here, they're getting some value too. Oh, God. Now the scorpions have been killed off as well. And Ganji's probably wondering, where have things gone wrong for me? Nobody lost with this freaking Civ and gold. Impressive. This is really nice stuff. Like, guys, what's impressive is it's been perfectly balanced to catch up with economy as well. Because it's so easy to just get stuck in that all-in Cav Archer mindset, but you're behind by 30 vils. So if you're behind by 30 vils and you're pushing like this, eventually the opponent's going to have so much more than you and overwhelm you, and then they hold and then you win. But now it's like you're only behind by 8 vils and you're untouched. And you're taking incredible trades. Not to mention that this is kind of awkward for the Cumans to deal with because the Cumans don't really have great answers to archers. It's mainly just making lots of stable units that makes the Cumans strong. Wasn't there Korean Cav Archers and gold beating Cumans? It wasn't beating the Cumans. There were Korean Cav Archers. We did see Vietnamese Cav Archers on this map too in gold. But no, that was against Malians. And that was cool too, because that was because of the discount that Koreans received on their wood units. But the Bowsaw's been in. Heavy Plow's been in for all these farms. The guy's on stone to build a castle soon. His resources are perfectly balanced for these upgrades. Barles is playing like a maniac. And you're kind of stuck if you're Ganji. You got to continue on stable units and scorpions and hope that everything gets value. And adding the light cav is great against the monks, but obviously less successful against these Cav Archers. This is really sick. And I think you've reached the point of the game where you think about the next level and maybe even the next part of map control, which is the castle towards that middle area, because the stone buildup is coming for Barles. If he really thinks he's got a position, we might even see a castle over here. Like a castle on this hill could end the game. But that's obviously what Ganji's going to be focusing on. Ganji's just going to be focusing on clearing up this. And that's why Barles tried to loop out over here. Ganji with some micro. Camels will get some nice hits. Barles is currently focused over here. That's the weakness of the Cav Archers, is it's hard to split forces with them. You really have to get that snowball. But, light cav camel numbers still not all that strong here. Now, with a couple scorpion volleys, maybe a couple extra camels, it could be good. We'll see. Didn't forget his buildings. Clicks up immediately. Barles is playing like a beast, man. And then here, the light cav from Ganji go in for the monks. Little awkward for him to find those kills, though, right? But he will find those kills. So now the monks aren't an issue anymore. This is what I consider to be bold, by the way. This is a bold bunch. I would just place a TC there. That's way too close to where you're leaving. This I love. I think he could place it more aggressively, but then he doesn't know, right? And honestly, I think you just want to save castle so you're able to get recurve bow. Recurve bow is a ridiculous upgrade. So you don't want to rush castles. You need that castle. There's the TC. I was going to say that's a bit of a rough spot there. Magyars are one of my favorite civs, guys. I can't believe I didn't know that change. Full-time AoE, by the way. That's pretty cool. Magyars definitely felt like they needed a little bit of something to switch them away from just being all-in Night Civ. It was like if you got to the Cav Archers, it always felt like you just got there because your opponent misplayed at a high level. But now there's actual reason to, possibly get to that build-up. Converted camel from Barles just will clear up the light cap. But that could be... Nope. I was going to say that would be the first villager Ganji's killed all game. Ganji hasn't killed a single vill. That's insane. And he's in stabilized mode. He's in full boom mode. And he's going to see Imp is in for Barles. And I do not see a world in which this Cav Archer mass can be stopped soon. The Scorpions will maybe be your best option. Even that's not going to be good against Imp upgrades. This eco is ridiculous. He can get everything. He can get heavy Cav Archer. He can get recurve bow. He can get bracer. He can get chemistry. He could spend 2,000 resources on upgrading these units, and Ganji just taps out. And that's the first time we've seen humans lose here. And Barles played amazing. Well played to Barles. Barles, I think he's upped his level since TTL 2, certainly. And I've been looking at some of his other performances. And the tricky thing about Barles is he's really strong on closed maps. So you might think like, okay, like instinctively, some people are going to be like, all right, he's going to pick like Zawal or like Fractal playing towards monks. No, like he's an open map player. And it was ridiculous here. It seemed like he played a bunch of practice games. There's no world in which this is the first time he played this. It wouldn't surprise me too if he played up against the human strat. So Barles gets the first win. Ganji does have a home map. Possibly some worry on Ganji's part, though, that the level Barles is bringing can't be matched. I know I'd be feeling that way. 27,500 resources collected for Barles. What a cool strategy. The militia on the deer. The scout pressure all over the map. The Cav Archers pressuring. The perfect eco behind. Like, that was unbelievable. Ganji didn't play poorly. Ganji had a really good strat. Ganji got the 4 TCs. Ganji's got great eco, but too little too late, even with 112 villagers. My goodness. All right, so game number 2 it is. And as expected, we've got Ganji looking to recover here in the blue. His number 1 pick on his home map is the Italians. Italians, so good for this map. Not a map that we've actually, or not a civ we've actually seen as frequently as others, like maybe Japanese, Dravidians, or Malay in gold. And the reason for that is because the fact they were banned. A lot of players didn't want to allow the Italians to be played. I think I'm going to remove my mods for this one, by the way, just because there's so many fish. And I don't think bigger trees are actually that big of an issue for casting migration. Sorry about that. I've got to rework some things. But cheaper up to each age, cheaper fishing ships, cheaper dock techs. I don't know why Ganji's clicking so much with his scout right now. Actually, it should be better for you economically to wait until this deer is almost finished. That way there's not as much decay. And he has nothing else to do. Did his APM spike there? Not really. They're both clicking their scouts a lot. But yeah, I just saw him clicking around. It kind of got a chuckle out of me. But yeah, that's why Italians are strong. They also have a good tech tree. They have the condos, which can be a sneaky surprise in Imp. Cheaper university upgrades. It just feels like all the things you utilize on migration are so good for the Italians. The Malay, though, are similar. Advancing faster to the next stage is the big one, but they also have more vision on their docks. If they end up fish trapping later, which doesn't usually happen, but if they do, their fish traps have like 2,000 plus food on them, and they've got pretty solid tech tree for the types of fights you tend to see here. But I think the dock vision and advancing up to the next age is kind of the biggest thing. And then they obviously have really good water tech tree as well. So they've got good options. I'll show you the difference in the dock vision because there's going to be at least one person out there who is going to be extremely satisfied with what we see with the vision here. Ready? All right. So we're not going to look at Barles first because that's going to ruin it. This is going to change your life. Right? It's going to make you a Malay fan. I also forget if it's a team bonus or not. I feel like it is a team bonus, so if you ever teamed with them on water maps, it could be nice. Okay, so this is the normal dock. Notice how you can't see a deep fish. You know there's probably one out there, but you can't see it. So you're just like, well, that's cool, but that's not that exciting. Here. Whoa! Look how much you see. Look how far you can see. You can see the other shoreline. So, I mean, this is honestly a pretty unlucky dock as well. You dock somewhere else, you're going to see like 4 or 5 fish. So, yeah, that is very satisfying bonus. And, you know, extra vision's satisfying for me. Like Byzantines getting the extra vision when they go up through the ages. Oh, free town watch, free town patrol. Something about it, man. And yeah, so team with the Malay on a water map or like Nomad or something, and you will get that vision for yourself. Okay, so the builds have all been fast castle builds and all been centered around fires from players who really want to win migration. Players who really know migration. I can think of one game where Galleys was the play, and it was from Sito against Dragonstar, but Dragonstar was Khmer, a civ we never saw played by anyone else on migration, and it was kind of weird, and things went wrong there. So, again, one game, it worked. Like 4 or 5, it didn't, and players were changing their strats. Players were just like, Galleys is too much micro for migration. I need fires instead after a while. And so I'd be shocked if we see anything other than that moving forward here. Hacky, we're going to have the big trees just for this game. All right? Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look at the trees. Look at the trees. Appreciate the wood dangling from the lumber camp, which we never really pay attention to. Yes. Lots of detail here in that lumber camp. Yeah, I have a mod for when I played that adds borders to every single fish. And it looks obnoxious on a water map, and I've just got to remove that and didn't, so we're just going to have bigger trees. Like I said, shouldn't be that big of a talking point. There will likely be no action on either player island. A lot of the action will happen on water. And then there will be some action on land, but it shouldn't take away too much from the action. Yeah, slam on Galleys and it wasn't the best. I agree. Yeah. And actually, this is going to come off a little bit brutal, but at that stage of when slam went for Galleys, I feel like it's borderline inexcusable, right? Like, maybe he'd seen it before, maybe he thought it was good, but I just think it's a bad strat, and it showed that he was underprepared for the decider. In theory, it can be really strong, but the reason it's not that strong, guys, is because it takes so long to get to the enemy side, and then your galleys are constantly split up. So it's like you might have a couple galleys here, then a couple galleys here, and fires in low numbers can be much stronger. Not to mention, you don't have to put as much focus on them as a player, so you can focus more towards the middle area, which is really important. So yeah, it was 10 fishing ships as the average for players who've clicked up on this map before. We've got 8 fishing ships currently for Barles, and he just churned out the 9th one. We've got 10 fishing ships moving up towards 12 for Ganji, but remember, he saves a lot, being Italians. But he forgot a mill, so he does need to make a mill. That way he can make a market and a blacksmith. And yeah, there you go. You don't actually need the mill for the blacksmith, to be clear. You just need the mill before a market. And I've seen players forget it, like right here. He has forgotten it. Now, maybe he's intentionally delaying it. He's actually adding a barracks as well, so I think he might want to go for a stable. That was the other thing I was going to mention, is players like to go for stables in the middle now. Some players, that's an adjustment. And we saw that meta kind of form throughout Gold. He's not spending his wood on anything except a couple fire galleys right now, so he's just roaming around. And Ganji goes for the blacksmith, and Ganji goes for the market. Does actually get pop capped, which, if that affects his dock production, that would hurt, but it doesn't. Obviously does set him back a villager, though. So it is notable. And he's on his way. Now there's an archer range for Barles. Huh? Okay. Alright, so of course, adding navy. He wants to go archers in the middle. I mean, Malay are great with archers. This is just new. It's not necessarily bad. He wants to kill those villagers when they come across. Look, he's looking. He's looking for them. Where are the archers? We're looking for you. He doesn't see anything. And he's delayed his uptime. Like, he hasn't clicked up yet. And he's honestly, he's still quite a few resources away from clicking up. So I think, like, If the archers don't find a payoff, I think he could be a big trouble on water against Ganji's navy. Ganji going for the more standard approach. We'll probably see him bring vills. But you've got to get loom. Oh, interesting, guys. You know, you're just sending villagers to the mainland, assuming you're going to be fine. So you don't get loom here for Ganji? Oh, that could be really awkward. That could be the difference between the strategy, you know, not being a game winner, but really having an effect and not at all for Barles, who's even getting Town Watch for vision. Here, Barles was able to find some of the fires from Ganji. Ganji's fish are going to see the dock, actually. And there he goes. Okay, but does Barles see this? This is so important. Like, you need to you need to move out here with loom. This is a mistake. He might have time. It's just, does he remember? He sees the docks going up. He's getting the war galley upgrade. He's dropping that TC. Barles can't see it. Barles has the archers. He's waiting for the vills. He can't see it, guys. There's no loom for Ganji. These villagers would die. This is a big break for Ganji here. Not to mention he found the dock, and he'll probably be able to kill it before it disrupts too much. Does the outpost see it? The outpost sees it. There go the archers. And does Ganji see the archers? He does see the archers. So now he's probably like, am I going to get this TC up? He's not going to get this TC up. And Barles is going to make sure these villagers stay here too. Without loom, those villagers will die very quickly. Look at this play. Guys, Barles is going to kill the scout. And then here, you just have to click onto each villager. There's no loom. The vills will die. And the TC has been denied. With loom, maybe there's a chance, but the strategy pays off for Barles, guys. Really well played from him to stop that TC. It's all about migrating, right? So if you know the opponent will be doing it, it's best that you prioritize blocking it and stopping it. Now, where this gets really fun, and I don't think I've been more pumped for a migration game the entire of TTL Season 3, is that now Barles could be completely obliterated on water. Because there's 11 fires versus 1 for Barles. So if Ganji just keeps looking, he's going to find the transport, he's going to find the fish, and there's going to be like no fishing ships for Barles at this stage, which is obviously horrible. He is going to have vision in the middle, and he is going to have a TC, but no fish versus 12 fishing ships means that the eco count's actually even. And Ganji, if he keeps his transport alive, which he has, Ganji can actually just make a couple knights to, in theory, clear this up. But some big issues for Barles, or rather for Ganji with how this is played out, is he sold 100 stone earlier. And so he has 0 stone, so he can't make another TC. The other thing is, this TC, if it goes up, it's kind of been lamed, right? You can't really take gold there. So it really is set him back. But what a fun strat here from Barles. We'll see if it pays off. We'll see if it's worth it. A lot of players this season have made monks in the middle, and you can tell after he finishes this, he's going to end up doing that. There's a transport with villagers. Did Ganji see that? I think Ganji knows something's up. There's a scout attacking, by the way. No! Villagers! Well, villagers are here, but Barles is going to deny another building. He's going to deny this monastery. That monastery will not go up. The transport ship goes down, but villagers made it. And ripped to the Ville. Now here come the knights. And Ganji must know that the new villagers are here because he saw the transport. This is so rare, dude. And okay, you can clear this up now. Which in theory means that he should be able to try and finish his TC, but it's taking so much time. Barles has played amazing. A really good strategy today. It's like he knows. What I love about the strat from Barles here, guys, is he knows what's good on these maps, right? Like there's been practice involved, and he's watched a lot of how gold played out. More quick walls from Barles because he sees this. His archers are slowly disappearing. More reason to make monks for him. And monastery will complete for Ganji, and Ganji will kill the villager, possibly. And then he's also going to finish the TC, finally, on the mainland. He's bringing a lot more vills. He's bringing a lot more knights. This knight, though, Gets deleted, actually. Ganji knew it would get converted. Guys, what a game. What a fun game. Okay, so look at the res collected. It's super close. Ganji's going to have the food eco, which means Ganji could have the food eco to make light cav. He's getting light cav. He's going to make scouts because the monks are a problem now. But then you've also got stone income from Barles, which could be for future castles and towers or something through the middle, which he has vision on. Honestly, feels like a position where maybe Ganji overmade knights. Players are so good these days that I think that's an actual conversation to have. Whereas 2 years ago, you just think, well, it's not a waste. It's a knight. Knights are so nice. War Galley upgrade coming in from Barles because he's trying to get a dock up here. 2 docks, actually, to contest Ganji's fish. And Ganji deletes another unit because the monks are there to convert it. Barles getting atonement because he knows there's going to be knights and he knows there's going to be monks. And he thinks, I can convert the knights already. With atonement, I convert the monks. He does not see light cav yet. He only sees the knights. And yeah, he's got crossbowmen. And yeah, that's good in support of the monks, but it's not like he has a lot. And it's not like he has lots of upgrades. I agree. I think a good call right now from Ganji would be to transport the knights to the base of Barles. That's not something Barles has really accounted for. But what a smart decision to wall this up, guys. +2 armor. He might go to the mainland. If he's getting that much armor, he wants to be underneath TCs, I think. Also, great call from Ganji. See where he's moved his fishing ships? He's hidden them. There's more fish here anyways. This is an amazing migration game. Unfortunate for Ganji that he's on the little narrow area of this island. And Barles knows that. Barles is starting to get vision elsewhere with outposts and whatnot. Where are those knights? They need to be transported. That has to be the play. Transport them directly here. Things like maybe both players have forgotten about that possibility. Or maybe there's just not much Barles can do about it. Is there a hole here? There's no hole. He didn't know about the walls, guys. He didn't think about it. He wanted a big attack here. He's not going to get it. He wanted an attack. He wanted a castle drop. He's going to drop a castle now. And now he's going to hop into that transport. And these things could loop around. And Barles needs to remember that that potential is there for his opponent. Here come the light cap, though. +2 armor. Lots of monk upgrades coming in for Barles. There's the light cap. Barles wants to drop a gate. And it's not going to happen. It will actually happen. Well, now this gate's open. And now she's dead. And now the gate's closed again. Well, dicey times. Oh, there's a hole there for Barles. The light cap make it through for Ganji. And Ganji's been able to hold on. Look at his KD. He's killed 32. Now 37 units and lost 6. Because of the crazy water control he's had. And obviously he lost a couple of villagers on land, but that's been it. It does feel like this should mean race to Imperial Age now for both of them, right? You both have a castle. Trebuchets would be super valuable. And yeah, Ganji, he knows the Malay are faster to Imp, so he's going to rush it by using the market. And it all happened at once here. Still has light cav to maneuver around with. Still has some knights too. Like, there's some real potential for him. And he'll definitely click up before Barles does here. Ganji, I thought he was really gonna struggle to know what to do. Oh, transport ship! Oh, wait. Oh, now all the monks converted the transport, but the light cap's here. Oh, that's so funny. That is such a funny moment. Those poor monks are like, damn, I thought he was gonna stay inside there. I thought he was gonna be ours. And now Ganji immediately uses the transport ship. He's actually going to do what his opponent should have done to him and transport to the islands. And this might give Ganji the idea that he needs to try it as well with all these fire ships around. Guys, Imp is coming in for Barles now, in case you haven't noticed. Oh, don't lose that knight. What? Oh my goodness, that could have so easily been a conversion. Anyways, Light Cav are still running around here. Obviously, you've got the Castle War as well. And this is going to be a race to trebuchets and maybe hand cannons. And Barles, he's got more villagers. He's got quite a few more villagers. And he will be faster to trebs. And I think, like, he has more space to work with as well. I think this could be really good for him. Transport's going to bring a villager and some monks. I don't know if that's been spotted by Ganji, but it seems like he's almost expecting it. No, he doesn't know. There's a monk and a villager there. We'll see what happens. There's it. Okay, landing here. Sorry, knights are in Barles' base, and Barles took big damage here. And now Ganji's going to drop his next castle here. An interesting play when this becomes a treb war towards the middle, but I like the chaos it brings. So we've got a double island raid, a double landing, and we'll have a treb war. Barles is making the treb, which you could forget about when you're being castle dropped. Here come a few more villagers to make sure this castle completes, and I think Barles might need to abandon this island soon. At least he's got some stone income in the back. Is this monk walled in? That monk is walled in. These guys are both incredible. Seriously, like the level these two are bringing is ridiculous. And it's still so freaking close. This will get dealt with now. Thankfully enough for Ganji, who's going to have fast fires. And one treb here is probably fine, but there's still some big problems on land for him, I feel. Because, like, he's going to lose the treb war. And then Barles had already researched monk upgrades to convert bombard cannons. He already got redemption. So I don't think it's that difficult for Barles to continue this push. And what Ganji's hoping is that he can make bombard cannons to push back the trebs. That's not going to happen. Like, this landing, I think it needs more than just trebbing things down. I think you need kills. You need a bigger economic lead right now if you're Ganji. And maybe some desperation transports this way, which feels so difficult. Barles, if he can just hold on to the mainland, he could absolutely win this game. He's been taking worse fights. He obviously has had worse eco. He's got way less on food, and he will have even less on food because of this. But yeah, like, what do you do here to save your villagers? Towers? When there's a treb? I don't really have the answers. Castle far back here from Ganji, who's aiming to make a bombard cannon from his only siege workshop here on this island. That siege workshop is going to go down, so the bombard cannon is not going to come out. Here comes some light cav from Ganji, though. That's the play. Light cav. And the monks that are here are going to die. And these villagers need to escape. And these villagers have nowhere to go right now because they cannot escape if there's fires here. Transports need to be coming from Barles, but he needs navy first, which means that Barles needs to push. He's dying here. It's painful. It's sad. It's atrocious. He needs to push. And he can do it. That's the exciting thing. He could actually push. He's got the better army comp. If he had the monks here too, he's actually forgotten. He's got 4 monks in those monasteries. So those are the monks I'm expecting him to find. But Barles, you've got to make it happen, dude. You've got to move. He only has 2 trebs in the middle, I'm noticing. He's really run out of resources quickly here. And now the castle's being trebbed, but the monk's going to go convert a trebuchet. Don't kill it. Convert it. Can you imagine? Oh, it was deleted by Ganji. Ganji deleted that because he didn't want to lose it to the monk. Dude, then Barles could have just trebbed this castle back. Oh my goodness. Okay, so, again, will Barles remember that he has these monks? Okay, he has now. So, he's now hoping that he can use these monks to convert these bombard cannons. That's the goal. I saw he got redemption earlier, and the monks do not have block printing, so he would really need the 12 range first. Condos. Condos are good if you have food eco. In case you guys haven't realized, it's messy. Fish traps could be huge, though. But if you lose this castle, you then lose the dock where the fish traps are around. I also don't like condos against monks. I think light cav is what needs to continue to be the play for Ganji. Wood and gold on to bombard cannons, and then food onto light cav makes the most sense for me. Timing is everything, though, and Ganji has a lot of time to balance out his eco and make his next decisions. Yeah, I like the condos here, though. You're right. This is a really good spot for the condos. Yeah, no, it's all good, Michael. It's all good. You're generating conversation. That's what it's all about. Fun things to talk about. Fun things to think about. How can Barles hold on? What can Ganji do to finish it? That's not going to be helpful. That's a pathing thing for Ganji. He clicked the castle, and the bombard cannon went the whole way around instead of this way. That's a bombard cannon down, meaning he doesn't have any. Shout out to you, Genoese crossbowman. Ugh. Very close fight. I mean, this eco for Barles, it is all going to disappear eventually. He needs a push to be happening here. And I'm just not quite seeing it. Ganji's got time to add farms with these vills. Ganji's got time to mass some siege, mass some hand cannons. He's still holding some control here, holding some presence here. Maybe these villagers can escape soon. I thought there'd be a bit more pressure here, and the Karambit Warriors were the answer for the Trev, apparently. But, oh, God, they're going to disappear. Oh, what a great fight there for Ganji. Ganji keeps the Trev alive, kills all the Karambits, and now it seems like Barles might wither away here. There's also, I mean, there's also still fires around, right? So there's no question that the transport's in jeopardy. And now I'm not seeing the monks in a position to maybe hit these cannons. You can't use the monks against the Trebs. But if you're behind by 50 eco and 30 military and you're using your trebuchets against the enemy Trebs, that's a bad sign. And yeah, the monks went in for the cannon and all got sniped. Barles just has too little. It's all too late. And what a great comeback, I think you could say, from Ganji. Now, what made this so cool is Barles, he got crazy damage in with the play on land, which then set him back behind water. Basically, if Barles didn't deny that TC originally, he's super dead and we don't even see the rest of this game. Because he invested his wood into forward docks and his wood into archers and, you know, delaying his castle age a bit, and subsequently lost water because he wasn't producing to defend his fish. So it was kind of cool to see the pros of controlling land and then the cons of it as well. But honestly, I think Ganji adapted super well in this game. Like, obviously, he needed Loom at the start, but when you see a player falling back against the game plan and having to add the knights there, typically that's a really bad sign. But it worked out well. He then was really quick to add Light Cav. He researched Light Cav immediately after he realized there was a monastery out there. And the Light Cav found some good harassment. He expanded his fishing eco consistently too. He then found the counter landing and used the Light Cav here. It was impressive. So back and forth game, honestly. And I think Barles actually had more of a chance than he showed in Imp. I think he honestly just didn't have the wood and the gold to be able to make more Trebs and monks. That was it. If he had like an extra 600 gold, 600 wood for some reason, I think he could have snowballed more and Ganji would have struggled. But yeah, 2-1 KD. That now means it's 1-1 in this series as well. And that one had me hyped. Really well played. Great game from both. And with everyone mattering, man, it's going to feel a whole lot better in this killer group to end this 2-1 instead of being on the other end of a 1-2. Or wait, I guess the other end of a 1-2 would be 2 as well. You know what I mean, okay? Here we are. Game number 3, Golden Pit. And this has been such a good series thus far. I'm going to toggle on the small trees again. But big surprise to me. Just like a big surprise that Golden Pit of all matches is going to be the home map pick for Barles here. Because it's a map that comes with a lot of like aggression and a lot of risk. And players that we've seen Golden Pit, but no one's really been picking it, you know? Because if you're going to pick an open map, you might want to pick Graveyards, or you might want to pick Land Madness, or all of those. So that's an interesting home map pick for Barles. He's gone for the Incas. It's the Chinese for Ganji. And Ganji, not having the ideal start. You could tell he forgot his house temporarily. Also didn't have his buffalo underneath his TC. It will not be the worst start ever for Chinese, but it's not as clean as it should be. He'll be dropping off the food here to get his Vil. Just a bit more difficult for him to get started here. And honestly, that's the big thing with Chinese. Chinese start with additional Vils. You need to have a clean start. You need to ensure that you're maintaining the villager count. And then the weakness of the Chinese is heavy pressure and early feudal. And heavy pressure and early feudal is probably what Barles is going to be shooting for here. But yeah, basic things about the map. For those that don't know, you get 6 tiles of gold at home. Barles with an amazing gen. Actually, both of his golds really close together and on the back. The rest of the gold is towards the middle. You do have stone as well. All his stones are forward, actually. Very interesting. It's like all the stones in one spot. All the gold's in one spot. Ganji actually bringing out a villager to get these buffalo. And a bit of a weird thing to do that when you've got the scout, but I was worried he was going to lose them. It seems like he might be fine. Ganji's got stone on the back, 3 tiles of gold here. This gold actually is going to be really awkward for him because the wood lines don't really allow you to wall that in. But each gold tile has 800 gold, more than enough gold to work towards, you know, Castle Age and towards the Imperial Age. I think if you don't have gold access when you're an imp, that's where it becomes a real problem. But you should always have enough gold to fight for the middle and use enough gold to contest the middle in imp. So I would assume it would be a scout opening with the Chinese. There's been lots of food income here for Ganji, so I think that would make the most sense. And I think man-at-arm pressure is what players used to do against the Chinese on open maps. I haven't honestly seen Chinese versus Mezzo in a long time. It's been a bit on an Arabia-style map. So Chinese have either been banned or it's been like... I don't know. I recall it in a couple events where it was 9 Vil starts, which is always very different. So I don't know. But Barracks obviously being up here for Barles indicates that he's going to do something with that. But it doesn't mean he's going to make militia before he goes feudal. He might actually use this as the second Dark Age building. And yeah, it seems like he's going to do that, and he'll make the militia afterwards. This is going to be really quick. You can really skip some steps with the Incas because the houses give you extra pop space. You also have the llama for extra food. That could be a dead Vil. You got to be careful. It is a loomed Vil, but still the eagle could die, but not Barles. You could tell he briefly thought about it and then thought, let's play safe. Because if you're going to go for, as Barles had to add another villager here, if you're going to add for militia here, the most important thing is you have your scout and, oh, Ganji, that could have been so much worse. Looked like he was really headed for that TC because he didn't see any houses. If you had time to think about it, guys, you really should always make your houses away from the front of your base. So your opponent runs into the TC. But I think a lot of that's just dependent on where your Vils spawn. But the fact that the houses were back here means he didn't really have an indicator, but he did react pretty nicely there. Anyways, couple Vils to gold. I think this is man-at-arms. If he sent 3 to gold, it would make sense for the third militia to come, but now he's going forward, which means the third militia probably won't, so. Yeah, who knows these days, you know? Anyways, I assume Ganji's still going for the scout approach here. He's about, like, 20 seconds off of what is achievable with Chinese with this feudal age time. He did prep walls on the berries, because he scouted the barracks. I think he's expecting the militia approach into archers. He doesn't see the militia yet. Barles is probably assuming the woodline's walled too, but now he sees that. And he can use this eagle. I mean, I'm really surprised that we have walls prepped here, and then, oh my god, he's so fast! I guess that answers the question. There's also a weird world, like if this is Viper, you could trap here, right? It feels like going in here is going to be a regrettable decision. Quick little house, and bam. I would never try that stuff in a million years. Ganji, though, gets his walls down, keeps himself protected. I don't think Barles was necessarily expecting to kill anything with this. And then Ganji's scout goes right into that TC again. And that was some quick walling from Barles with the garrison, too, that forced that. Really well played from Barles. Barles with archers on the way now. Anywho, wood upgrade coming in now for Ganji. Stables on the way. Could have thought about skirms because he knows his opponent will go as an archer follow-up. But then Incas can always just add eagles, too. So it feels like either way, you're going to be in a kind of a tough spot. I don't hate scouts from the offensive ability you then have, but due to the fact that starting scout is weak, Barles doesn't have to worry about losing villagers when walling up. So he could just casually be out here, which he never would if that scout wasn't weak. And Ganji's going to go forward, though. Just passing by a couple spearmen and the archers, too, and no range yet. And honestly, guys, it feels like the timing on the pressure here from Barles is just going to be smothering here to Ganji. Do you debate a tower? Yeah, okay, so house and then a tower to protect this probably is the play. But he needs these scouts to go find villager kills, or he needs skirmishers, one or the other, or both. Because there's not a lot that stops Barles from just leaving this position. You see a tower, you think, oh, great. I know he has a wood line back there. Let's go there next. Tower could actually get some good kills, though. Oh, I was thinking maybe with a garrison, a couple volleys, kills a spear or two. Makes life a little bit easier. Cheaper techs for Chinese. More food on their farms. Didn't have the horse color upgrade, so it's not going to feel that good, but Ganji hasn't lost any villagers. Again, it's in Castle Age where Chinese would just feel ridiculous, but to be fair, Incas right now as well, after the buffs they've received, are the same. And the efficiency for Ganji's ecos is telling you everything right now. He ran out of straggler trees to chop. Skirms here. Most valuable unit. Great against the spears, great against the archers, but no fletching upgrade yet. That's really micro-intensive. Ganji shouldn't lose vills to this, but it's like, can you add your farms? Can you do everything while this pressure's coming in? Whereas Barles is just simply walling up. It's so easy to just go in a little bit too close with the skirms, and suddenly that happens. Or go in a little bit too close with the scouts, and suddenly the spears get hits. Oh, God! Yikes. Anyway, scouts, skirms pull away. Walls coming up, and I think from this position, Barles is probably not going to move forward for a while, right? He knows this will eventually die. He just wants time. I think the farming eco's pretty good for Ganji. Just needs to actually get workers on the farms. That tells you how messy this has been, but Ganji just sitting around to kill this right now. Didn't realize that Bidaxe wasn't in. It's interesting. Like, I feel like that makes me think that Ganji's got the preferred position. I want to check res collected after this. He's had more vills and he's had Bidaxe. That's a pretty big deal. Felt like that level of pressure needed more damage if that's the case. 7 to 2 KD for Ganji. Ganji collected 400 more res, more food, more wood. Obviously no gold income. But now he has time to wall up a little bit. And Barles is actually going to push forward. This is where you have to track nicely. This is a nice little wood wall, but this still needs to go up. Oh, just passing, and both the scouts are going to go down, and there's just one more remaining. That's painful, because now suddenly this one eagle accomplishes so much more. If you have the 3 scouts, then that one eagle and the archers might not even move out. Still not sure what the comp will be for Barles long term. It does feel to me like he's going to shift into like monks and eagles from here. He's not making any more archers. He's hoping to get value from these archers before they're eventually dealt with by the skirms. But yeah, this is going to be an area that's protected. And obviously Ganji, after he lost those scouts there, is like, where's his army? Where am I vulnerable? He added a house here because there was a palisade. So here, he's got markets and he's got woodline. Here he's adding houses, blacksmith, stone walls. Because this could do damage. And you already made the tower, so you already don't have the stone to make the second town center in the next stage. I think this is a fine move to just spend the stone. Play it safe here. And I'm sure everyone noticed, but in case you didn't, stone was sold by Barles on the left side. He's not planning on booming at all. Double mining camp on gold. This is going to be a lot of eagles and a lot of monks. The scout's still scouting from Ganji, though. I like this. I feel like even all the way to the top level here, there's too many players who don't use the weak scouts to scout the map. They just leave them sit there all the time. It's one of those things that bothers me mid-cast. Eagle upgrades coming in. It would be wasteful, though, to lose an eagle here. I think this eagle's going to be pulled back. And Barles just threatening with what he can right now. I'd be shocked if he actually upgrades these archers. And I think Ganji fully expects that to be the case here, too. Because he just got fletching. He's not really thinking about armor. I think we see, maybe even see Chukunu for Ganji. Ganji's really left a lot on stone here, and I thought he would transfer some off of the stone. But 6 on stone is pretty significant amounts coming in for him right now. And Barles at home, 3 barracks. He's bringing Vils to the middle. He'll buy stone back then, just so he can drop the town center. And even more stone walls from Ganji. Ganji just really making sure that he's safe here. Stone walls everywhere. It's probably because he expected an all-in of some kind. But Barles in some ways going to switch out of that. If it's an actual all-in, we would see, you know, we'd see maybe the 4th barracks. We'd maybe see the monastery prioritized. He's prioritizing the town center. So, obviously, great decision from Ganji, expecting a lot of pressure here, knowing he needs time. I like the stone walls for that reason. But you know, it's not actually an all-in now, and then suddenly you have a risk of maybe falling behind economically. Stone count's still climbing. He's got enough stone for a castle, and he's going to drop a castle. Really interesting. I'm thinking about this. Like, normally in this instance, let's say that Ganji was like Britons. And he would be going longbows out of his castle, so archers. I feel like the play would be to go skirms later. Like, I know a lot of eagles is really good, but eventually, you know, you're going to see skirms instead of siege. Here, do you go skirms? Do you go siege? I don't know. This is weird, man. It's like a very unexplored type of style here from Ganji. He's lost a lot of houses here. Castle will go up. And Bodcanero's now on the way. Ballistics will be in. Barles doesn't have any clue. He's just like, well, I guess I'm going to take out all your houses in the meanwhile. And drop a monastery to get relics. And make sure I'm fully walled here. And make sure I'm fully walled here. Because he's expecting maybe there's a side attack coming. My issue with Ganji's position right now is that it just took him so long to get all this. But if he gets enough Chukunu to contest this, then his next castle goes in the middle. And if that next castle's in the middle, then obviously, you know, could be really problematic for Barles. And then Barles doesn't have gold suddenly, which is pretty freaking awful here. Okay, so skirms will pop out to kill the archers. Barles might be like, they have Bodcanero. What is this? Is Ganji going to show him? I feel like it's worth it. Again, has not known about the Chukunu until now. And Knight pops out as well. Chukunus have 8 base attack, which is a lot for an archer in Castle Age. I think Ballistics is going to come as a shock. And he'll realize as the units are firing that this guy's got Ballistics. And he's probably like, huh? What? And here comes Ganji. I don't know if he has the numbers yet, though. Like, he's only got 8 Chukunu. I think Barles could actually just turn around and fight this at any point in time. I don't think the timing's right here for Ganji. And he's just realized. So he places the castle here. And, I mean, never mind the fact the villagers aren't building it yet. But still no second town center yet either. I really think the economy should be a bigger focus for Ganji behind this. He's got very little on food. Would love to see the second TC. But maybe it's an all-in type of 1 TC play towards Imp. Would feel out of place with Chukunu, but with archers in general, it's pretty good. This is now another building that you can make Chukunu out of, though. And it says he's got 30. He's still got stone for another castle. He brought his scout in here looking at the monasteries. He's going to drop the next one. Oh, boy. Chukunus will be converted. Here come the Eagles. Ganji's amazing with his house walls and quick walls, though. And actually, that's the ticket. Because as long as he has buildings foundations placed, the Eagles can't get in close. So, wow, what a play. What a play from Ganji. This is insane. He would have probably gotten this castle denied. But he builds houses and palisades all around this. He also brings the Chukunu next to the castle foundation. And I don't think Barles knew about this castle. And this castle is going to just wreck those Eagles with kills. Wow. And now he's got 3 castles. 3 castles to make Chukunu. And he's in the middle. And he's only behind by like 2 vills, guys. Wow, this is just ridiculous. And it's going to be another castle soon, too. He's got tons more on the stone. Ridiculous play. Some really crazy strats in this series. These players, they, with this type of level, they can definitely fight for the playoff spots. Another castle. Say goodbye to the gold, bro. Say goodbye to the gold, Barles. And of course, he's spending so much gold. He's thinking, I need siege. I need a couple more monks. I maybe need more eagles. You're never expecting the castles to come up at this type of time. But once it does, it might be GG territory. If you committed this much to the middle. Now, siege is on the way from Barles. He's trying to use his monks to stop the villagers from building. But look at that micro from Ganji. He expected it. Ganji hasn't lost a single villager. 11 Chukunu, by the way. Castle's gone up. Castle killing vills and will eventually take out the TC. These villagers can get to work on some gold. Food eco for Barles is much better. 17 on food. Behind this, there's 10 farms. And that's about it for Ganji, who's still all-inning this. And the concern with an all-in, of course, is if your opponent gets to Imp. Boom! If your opponent gets to the Imperial Age because they have greater economy, you could have problems. And this game is not finished yet. It's been 2 TC versus 1 TC. Barles can afford to take the losses. Barles hasn't been spending food. Barles has stone income at home. Yeah, he's on the way to this stone. And if he can get a castle down and then get an imp with trebs, Ganji could have some massive problems here. When you have this much on stone, when you've gone for this much wood and gold investment too for the Chukunu, you just don't have the food. And so I think Ganji's going to try and force another castle down here to completely take Barles off of gold. And it's going to get crazy because there's monks to get conversions and then there's 3 mangonels. You can't engage against this if you're Ganji. I think you can place a safe castle that maybe ranges this a little bit more. Yeah, like that. But I don't think you can actually truly take a good engagement here. And this could get denied, obviously. This could be terrible. There's the siege. There's the Chukunu. You can see the conversions paying off for Barles, who says, I'm not done. Yeah, this is awful for me. But I'm not done. I'm going to deny this castle. Here comes the siege. Ganji doing his whole foundation thing again. This castle could genuinely be denied. It's at 80%. There's lots of vills moving, though, which is the strat. And then Chukunu distracting. Castle will go up. And finally, Ganji lost some villagers. And finally, Barles now clicks up to Imp. So Barles has no access to gold in the middle. He does have 1 relic in that monastery. But he's going to squeeze a castle here. Oh, guys, I'm going to tell you what Ganji needs to do, okay? Well, obviously, deny this castle. That's the first thing. Deny this castle, it's game over. Here he goes. He's so scared of those monks in that siege, though. This castle's not going to be fully denied. He goes in again, backs away again. Here's monks again. Goes in more. Splits. Goes for the siege up the hill. The siege is getting repaired. He backs away. He's panicking. And he's gonna lose his mind when he sees him. Okay, you ready? This is what you do. You can't add rams because Barles is smarter than that, and he will add mangonel behind and kill the rams. You YOLO your Chukunu now to this eco. You go into Barles' base. You can ram here. Like, do everything at the guy's main base. And just hope that you've got enough gold income to work with it in Castle Age to fight this back. This is going to be epic. Now, if you're Barles, I don't really know what you do beyond hoping that Ganji doesn't do the right thing. You can bring your Monk and Siege over, but you're going to take losses here. Thankfully, being Incas, your villagers are affected by infantry blacksmith upgrades, so actually the villagers survive a little bit more. But I think you dive here. I think you just go under. Yeah, like, why not? Like, then the army's pulled away from the castle. Yeah, this is the correct play from Ganji. This is great game sense. Maybe Barles should have expected it. And, like, maybe you could try Rams now that the siege has to come over here from Barles. Imp upgrades on the way for these eagles from Barles. He cannot make more eagles. These eagles have to do it. And meanwhile, obviously, there's a Treb out. Look at the amount of Chukunu back here. That is a lot of Chukunu. And okay, Imp Armor's in, so it goes up to 7 Pierce Armor. But Chukunu do pretty decent damage. And Ganji should know, if I just kill these eagles, he can't make more. But there's also the stress of this as he micro down the Mangonel, lost a bunch of Chukunu to conversions, found villagers that somehow found gold. And here there's micro as well. The eagles are clearing this. There's 50 Chukunu for Ganji. But he's not going to be an imp. And now Barles can take gold, and Barles still doesn't have anything from the enemy that could take out the Trebs. Look at this line of bodies. And now there's more blue looking to join the party inside of the base for Barles. Yeah, because Ganji cannot kill this. He is nothing that can take out the Trebs. And he has no food eco. So it's not like he can add knights. There's a hole! Dive, Ganji, dive! He takes the house foundation. He takes the vill. He's in again. Excuse me? Did someone order Chukunu? Are you on auto delivery of Chukunu? I thought I canceled that subscription. And Barles is now trying to run to the middle gold because that's his only safe place for eco. I mean, if he's not Incas, he's dead. The villager armors actually helped him out so much here. But still, the eco's not pretty. And still, Ganji's losing all of his castles. What? 65 Chukunu, though. So, like, this is so confusing. It's so interesting. Does Barles need his main eco? I mean, yeah, he does. This can't be it. He needs to save his own eco, and he's not able to. It's very rare that on a map like this, the player who has all the castles in the middle is going to lose their castles, and then you're still like, yep, they're actually in an amazing spot. But with all the vills going down here, and now the Chukunu actually can just go underneath the castle fire if they wish to. This is pretty insane. What a game. What a funny game. This is the last thing Barles expected. He expected knights, he expected crossbows, skirms, booming. You know, he didn't expect like a 1 TC all-in mass Chukunu play. Look how many he has. Why aren't other people doing this? Barles calls the GG. He's like, I'm dead. I can't do anything. Like, he's got the 2 Trebs, but I think he realizes he can't move out from here. And he can't protect his eco anymore. The Chukunu are simply too good. Ganji ends the game with 73 Chukunu. He created 136 Chukunu in that game. 136 Chukunu in that game. I must have produced nonstop out of the castles when he had them. But was he up to 5 at one point too? That was ridiculous. So, I mean, Barles had an amazing opening to the series. He really counted the Cumans well. I was really impressed with his level. I was also really impressed with the strategy from Barles in Game 2. I was also impressed with his overall play in Game 3. I thought it was pretty clean, but he just got bested by ridiculous play from Ganji. I think this is an example of a strategy with Chinese that makes a lot of sense based on the map. He played the map extremely well. Other maps, I'm not sure it would be justifiable to play so heavily towards castles like this, but go ahead and try it at home. And Ganji It was third place in Titans League Season 2. Much to many people's surprise, people were like, this guy was promoted. He will probably be relegated again, and he wasn't. He now opens up against Barles with a 2-1 victory. So that's going to make Ganji feel really good. That was awesome. Yeah, and Alvaro says an Eagles counter archers. Well, you only get 5 Pierce Armor and Castle. And a Chukunu does 8 damage before the Fletching and Bod can kick in. So the base damage of Chukunu and Castle H is really good. Like right now he's working with 10 damage, right? Now it is a bit weird with how much and I guess at this point the Eagles have what? 7 Pierce Armor. So you're still doing 3 damage a hit. Now how the Chukunu fires is a bit different than other archers. There's that aspect as well. But yeah, very well played. Res collected, tons of wood, tons of gold, tons of stone from Ganji. There's like no stone mine untouched at the conclusion of that game. And yeah, like as I've already said, I think for Ganji it's a big confidence boost. Barles now under more pressure to get results in later rounds. But not the end of the world. Just snag a win here.